Up early in the morning, dressed in black. Don't ask why, cause I'm down in a suit and tie. They killed the homie that I went to school with. Damn, I tell you, life ain't shit to fool with. Still hear the screams from his mother while my nigga lay dead in the gut. The shit, and it's getting to my temple. Why is that the only time black folks get to ride in a woman? It makes me so mad I wanna get my soul and have some bodies home.
Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. I had to play that song. Can't say dead homie, because he's not dead. But it kind of has that feeling when it comes to Michael second to none. Okay, I've I've seen a lot of videos out there. And I like how people do, Blood Boxing, Boxing Fan 4, The Boxing Historian. A lot of people like to do classic type fighter, videos. And, Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, just whatever, Sugar Ray Robinson, all these great fighters. I think the most unknown one, I'd say, and I mean unknown more to the younger generation, and they may know him now, but they didn't know how good he was, I guess you could say, is Aaron Pryor. I remember Blood Boxing doing a thing on Aaron Pryor, and I really enjoyed that one just because he doesn't get, he doesn't get the attention that a lot of these greats get. Now, this one, I kind of wanted to do something different. I wanted to talk about a fighter, but I wanted to do something different to where this guy could have been a Hall of Famer. In my eyes, he could have been a great fighter and was on his way to a great fighter, but much like a lot of people in boxing, there's so many names like this, the guy I'm going to mention, and most of you guys already know who that was if you've seen the picture I had that on my computer screen, but it's Michael second to none. He was... in my eyes, man, he was a guy I loved. And actually, this is why I just love fights and fighters. And I don't necessarily love one or two guys, or each weight class I love a certain guy. Because, when I was younger, when you're 8 and 10 and 12 and 15 and 16 and 18 and 19, you kind of have a fighter in each weight class that you love. And then when stuff goes wrong, it just hurts you. And when Michael Nunn, his whole career went down, and after, I'll talk more about what James Toney did to him, and now he's in jail and all this stuff. There's so many fighters like this that were great, and bad things happened to them, but we're on the cusp of greatness. So anyway, I want to talk about Michael Nunn from Davenport, Iowa. Maybe I'm a little biased. He was one of my favorite fighters back in the day, the Midwest. And as you know, all the best fighters come from the Midwest, okay? Just ask Roger Mayweather. No, I'm just playing. I'm not playing, though. A lot of Midwest, really Michigan, in the training, that they get up there. Maybe they don't come from there at least, but they at least get trained there. Anyway, that's a different subject. I'm just playing around. But Michael second to none. And first off, just a nickname. But this dude was like 6'3", southpaw stance. He could box backwards. He could come at you. He had a crazy punch. He won, I believe, 1989. He knocked out, let me make sure I get this right, 1989, got the Ring Magazine. It was a left hook by Sumba Columbe. I don't totally remember that dude's name just because it's been so long. But I do remember the punch, and I'm going to have some links on here. One link for this punch, you got to see, he just squared out this dude with the left hand, and then the one that James Toney hit him with. But anyway, he was a great up-and-coming fighter, won a belt, and let me get this right on the dates here. July 28th, 1988, against Frank Tate, who was a gold medalist. He beat him TKO in the 9th round. To win a belt. I believe it was the IBF. Either way, that was his first one. He beat some other guys, like a guy I just mentioned, Sambua, Donald Curry, Starling. Let me get the guy's first name. Marlon Starling, Iran Barkley. He beat some solid guys. He got the title and then went right into a bunch of ex-champs. He was really on his way. He was 30-0, I believe, going into that Tate fight. Then he was 35-0 going into the James Toney fight. And James Toney, I believe, was 25-0. So it was one of these matchups that was just, you know, something I was really anticipating. And like I said, Michael second to Nunn was my dude back then, you know. At that weight class, that was my guy. And basically, man, he was beating him. He was outboxing him. And I believe it was the 11th round. Let me get this right just so I don't look dumb. I got it written down. I got a couple things written down just to make sure. 11th round, like I said, Michael was up on the scorecards, and Toney caught him with a great punch, and I'm going to have that link too. But this is how much a warrior and how much of a great fighter he was, I believe, and could have been a Hall of Fame type fighter. He got hit with a huge, huge shot, and he got up from it. He got up from it and fought on, lost in that round TKO. But, you know, after that, he won some okay belt type things. Like he won a belt against Cordoba, I believe his name is, Victor Cordoba, and then he lost to Little. Let me make sure I get that right. I think it was Steve Little. He lost the, you know, it was kind of like an okay belt, you know. But after that, you know, he had some problems with the law, and this is where it gets really sad and like, man, you know, it makes you mad and all that. But he basically, after a while, he had some run-ins with the law, and he finally got caught with $24,000, I believe, street value of cocaine, $24,000 that he was purchasing to distribute, and he got 24 years, man, and so that's why I had the song in the intro. No, he's not dead, but man, when you're in jail that long time, you know. And I'm not saying, oh, you know, feel bad for him because he did do crimes and stuff like that. It's just, you know, I was just reading an article actually before this. He made a good point that, you know, guys that rape women can get out. Pedophiles can get out in 4 years, you know, but they, you know, they let, you know, people that do sell drugs get 24 years. You know what I mean? And that's some bullshit. But anyway, if you haven't checked him out, man, I know a lot of these young guys may have heard of him and heard the name or whatever, but anybody like 25 and up, 30 and up, especially dudes in their 30s, man, Michael second to Nunn was the guy, man. Like I said, he's got a good KO percentage. This dude was my guy back then, so I just figured I'd try to do a different kind of a fighter that was going to be a great, and I believe a Hall of Fame type guy that just fell short. So I'd like to hear your comments if this guy, if you guys know who I'm talking about. If not, I want you to go check out some videos on this guy, and maybe some video responses. Maybe not necessarily to Michael Nunn, maybe to Michael Nunn, but maybe guys that were real close on the cusp of being great, but just didn't make it for whatever reason or the other. He also had gambling problems, really bad. So anyway, this has been the Rope and Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. Peace.